So Tower Defense X finally updated, and this is a pretty cool update because we have Slammer, which is the first melee tower of the game, and we also have Medic, which has health per second, which is the only tower with that, making both these towers very unique. However, they're both insanely expensive because you have Slammer at 22,000, and I think you need to be level 75 for it, and there's also Medic, which is 20,000. So that is why I'm making this video. So in this video, I'm going to be showing if Medic and Slammer are worth it. So for 325, it does 10 damage, which is actually really high. You already have splash radius of 1.5. It can hit 7. So this thing can do up to 70 damage, and this is for a cost of 325. A reload time of 2.75, a range of 4.5, and a DPS of 3.6. But if it was hitting 7 things at a time, then that DPS is 25.2, and that's really good for only 325. So I'm already impressed. 1x for 225, it just increases the damage by 5. Upgrading again for 375 increases damage by 10. If I move on to the bottom path, for 250, it increases the damage by 2, decreases the reload time by 0.1, and increases the range by 0.5. Upgrading again for 450 increases the damage by 2, decreases the reload time by 0.2, and increases the range by another 0.5. So the 2-2 Slammer already does 29 damage with a max target hit of 7, splash radius of 1.5, a reload time of 2.45, range of 5.5, and an overall DPS of 11.8, but times 7, that's like 80. So for only 1625, you're doing 80 DPS, assuming you're hitting 7 targets at a time. I'm also going to put Medic down, and this is for 850. You have heal per second of 50, and it's kind of like DPS, but now it's kind of like DPS, damage per second, but now it's heal per second, so HPS, and it also has a range of 12. So for 1x for 400, it increases the HPS by 20 and range by 2. Upgrading again for 925, you can increase the heal per second by 40. Upgrading the bottom path increases the range by 2, and this is 450. And then upgrading again for 450 increases the range by 3. So I also forgot to explain the 2-2 Medic, but for $2,325, you have an HPS of 110 and a range of 16. Also for early game, I think Shotgunner is better. Yeah, Shotgunner would be a better choice. And that's kind of bad because Shotgunner is only like 450 in the shop. However, if we go back to Slammer, let's do bottom path. So for 1900, you can increase the damage by 20. There's now a stun duration of 1, decreases the fire rate by 0.2, and there's now stealth detection. Upgrading again for 3125, you can increase the damage by 30. There's now increases the stun duration by 0.5, decreases the fire rate by 0.2, and there's now stun immunity, so that's pretty cool. To max the Slammer 2.5 for 1200, this increases the damage by, what is that, like 180-ish, so that's pretty good. Increases the stun duration by 0.7 and decreases the fire rate by 0.2. So, and this is what it looks like. And this does 137 DPS, but again, this can hit up to 7 things. So if you do the math, that is 959 DPS, and this is for 18,000. So yeah, this is absolutely destroying everything. Upgrading again for 5,750, this increases the damage by 75, the stun duration by 0.2, the splash radius by 1, and max targets hit is up to 13 now. Wow. Now to max hit 5.2 for 26,000, you can increase the damage by 295. Yes, I did the math. The stun duration by 0.5, max target hits by 4, so 17 hits. Oh my gosh. decrease the reload time by 0.5, the range by 1, and there's now an ability called Grand Slam. Now this already looks absolutely insane because that's 17 times 442. So that's 7,500 DPS, assuming it is hitting 17 things at a time. And I know that is very unlikely, but this can easily clear hordes. Alright, I maxed it, and this looks insanely cool. Now, what the ability does is, it does 1,500 DPS, a stun... Bruh. So like I was saying, it does 1,500 damage, 3 stun duration, ignores stun resistance, I think that means it can stun bosses. It has a burn, which is 75 DPS for 10 seconds, so that's 750 750 damage, and it has a splash radius of 4, so I'm just gonna waste it. That's pretty cool. If we go to Medic bottom path, for 2800 it increases the HPS by 25 and range by 9. Again, for 9250 it increases the HPS by 50, the range by 2. It has stun immunity and it also has an ability which is crits level 1, so if I get that, 100% damage buff for 5 seconds. Wait, does that mean if I use it? Whoa. So oh my gosh. And if you max it out for 2800, this increases the HPS to 260. There's now stun immunity and crits level 2. And if I remember right, this is a 200% for 12 seconds. 200%! This does 3 times the amount. So if I skip this wave and I put it on this, oh my god. Let me do the math. 21,522 DPS, assuming this is hitting 17 things at a time. That is insane! If we go top path, for 3,000, this increases the HPS by 100. Doing it again for 8,000 increases it to, I'm just going to say it increases it to 385. And we have our first ability of Uber level 1. And this makes a tower invulnerable for 12 seconds. So that just makes it invincible for 12 seconds. Now upgrading it again for 18,000, we now have the level 2 version. It increases the range by 1, and it increases the HPS to 635. So this thing is just really powerful when it comes to healing. So yeah, this thing is invincible for, how long is this? 25 seconds! So for 25 seconds, this thing can become invincible. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna sell all of my towers. So I didn't bring Golden Juggernaut, but I should have. But if I go ahead and use this thing, the crits, on a max Juggernaut, oh my gosh. So right now it's almost at 1,000 DPS. Let me max this. Yeah, 1,000 DPS. And if I were to use this, 3,000 DPS. And this is for 12 seconds, right? Yeah, 12 seconds. And I've tested it with Golden Juggernaut, and it does 6,300 DPS. 6,000. If you have, and how many can you put? I realized I never checked. You can put infinite. Okay, so you can put 12 medics. So if you have 12 medics linked to 12 Golden Juggernauts, that means, if I do the math, 75,000 DPS. And that is just with 12 Golden Juggernauts. And let's also see how many slammers you can put. I think it is infinite. Maybe. Yeah, I think you can put infinite slammers. So yeah. Oh my gosh. My final opinion, yes. Both of these towers are just really well. But not for early game. If you're trying to use Slammer for early game, just use Shotgunner. It's a lot better. But for late game, especially for Endless, these two towers just perform exceptionally well. Especially the 3 times damage. That is just completely broken. That can also make Railgunner do like 25,000 damage in one shot. So yeah, if you want to join my Discord server, the link is in the description, and comment what do you think about these two towers.